Talk about this fight last night. That was easy work. Easy work. Definitely got that prediction wrong, man. Let y'all get up in here. We're gonna chop it up about it. But good performance last night by Bivol. Still a little disappointed, man, that I didn't get to see Zhang versus Herkovic. But shouts out to Zhang yesterday, getting the stoppage against Alexander, landing a heavy left hand. I tried to call that fight live, and he literally when I started the cameraman, he knocked him out in about 20 seconds after me, literally when I started the live. So again, would like to still see Zhang take on Herkovic. That's if Herkovic can, come back in a timely manner, because we don't want Zhang out for too long. But let's get to the main event. Really good fight yesterday. Got the prediction wrong. I predicted Canelo to win by stoppage going into the ninth round. But I did say in my prediction video, I did say that I thought that Bivol would win the first 4 rounds, and then I thought Canelo would start to take over around about 5, 6, and then due to body work, I thought he'd be able to get Bivol out of there. And that didn't happen. Bivol had other plans, and after round 4, Bivol said, "Hey, Mr. Boxing, not only am I going to win the first 4 rounds, I'm just going to keep winning rounds and rounds and rounds and rounds." But he went in there, man, and let me see. Blackout was good, man. He went in there yesterday, man, and the physicality was just evident last night in that fight. Canelo did try to, do different things in there. First, he tried to, you try to work behind the high guard and try to put the high guard up and step forward to try to see what, Bivol had, and then try to unload that right hand he was throwing to his body, or his arm, or his shoulder, and his bicep, and all that. That wasn't working at all. Bivol was just absorbing those shots, and I think because he's just a solid 170 pounder, man, a 175 pounder. He's just a bigger, stronger guy, and he was equipped to take all that. And then Canelo tried to drop his hands, tried to be slick a little bit in there, and that didn't work either, right? He tried to do the whole, the fights when he made like Caleb Plant miss, and he kind of swing like that, look at the punch and say, "I made you miss." That wasn't working. He was doing that, swinging his head back, and then Bivol was following that up with
6, 7 pieces.
Yes, with 6, 7 punch combinations, jab, straight right hand, left hook, another straight right hand, another left hook. Like that wasn't working. Then Canelo tried to go on the ropes. That didn't work. He was trying to roll with shots kind of out of the shoulder roll position, or just high guard, trying to just roll with shots, and that wasn't working either, man. Bivol was scraping his body, and he was coming back upstairs, and he was punching in bunches. And he was also making Canelo fight in spurts when Canelo was trying to rest. You can see, he'll kind of take a step back and shake his head, note he didn't get hurt. All that was trying to just buy time to just get some rest. And it wasn't working. And to be honest with you, man, I was sitting there watching the fight last night, like, man, if Bivol was a little bit nastier and meaner and rougher in this, he probably could have pushed for a stoppage, but he was pushing the envelope, though, because even late, he was trying to get Canelo up out of there. He was raining punches. And one thing I will say about Canelo, he didn't quit trying. He was loading up on all them little punches he was throwing to Bivol's arm and chest and to his high guard. He was loading up. But that's the problem, though. You're loading up with punches, and the guy's just absorbing them, and they're not really hurting them, and now you're fatiguing. You're getting fatigue. You're starting to fatigue.
And it was like Canelo got frustrated. Right?
Yeah, and then he got frustrated. Forgot what round it was, but when Bivol had his arm wrapped around Canelo's neck, and then he lifted him up, and I'm thinking to myself, you're already fatiguing. That's the last thing you want to do, is pick him up and start doing squats in the ring with his body weight. And I'm just like, but that's frustration. And mentally, he just lost it for, I guess for that little 3 or 4 seconds of him doing that. But definitely fatigue. That jab. Now, when the first like 30 seconds of the fight, Bivol came out kind of peppering a probing jab, kind of finding that range. And then Canelo would burst through that and throw something hard and landing on the body. And I was like, man, this shit might not even go. It might be easier for Canelo than I thought. But then about that 30 seconds went by, Then Bivol started to step in hard with the jab and then a hard right hand, and he started backing Canelo up. He just wasn't satisfied with keeping him on the outside, and that's one thing I brought up in my prediction video, and a lot of other guys were saying this, but not only get the distance on Canelo, but make him pay a price as well by putting some heat on him. Not just, hey, let's play it safe, you stay here or you stay there, I'm going to stay here and I'm going to work my probing jab. Nah, he started to keep him on the outside, and he kept him on the outside with some power shots, man. And he was landing good jab, right hands. He was, man, throwing punches and bunches. And like I said, he was throwing punches at Canelo when he wanted the rest. You know, now one thing I will say about Canelo, man, I do appreciate him trying to test himself and going up to a 175 and, you know, trying to go for greatness. People are calling it a cherry pick. I didn't think it was a cherry pick, man. I definitely thought Bivol was going to give him a run for his money. Like I said, shit, if I picked Canelo to stop him in 9, so if I said he'll win the first 4 rounds, then the next 4 rounds, obviously I thought Canelo would take over. That's an even fight going into the round that I thought he'll stop him. So definitely think it was some easy cakewalk, man. I just thought Bivol's style would be a little bit too basic, and I thought that Canelo would be able to rough Bivol up on the inside. But again, the physicality was evident round 1. It was evident round 1. Just looking at the size of them, their shoulders, just the reach, the way Bivol was able to absorb. And then he started to do something that I seen George Foreman do, most notably for me as a fan. We was doing the Joe Frazier, right? When Frazier would come with his attack, not only would Foreman stymie it with his punches, but when Frazier even got close, he'll just take them and just literally just push them back. And once I started seeing Bivol able to do that, push him back, and then follow that push up with a hard 1-2, 1-2-3 4s, raining straight punches, I was like, ugh, yikes, this shit it's not looking good for Canelo, man. And it for me, around like round 2, it was just like, okay, I think he might. But once I seen that, now my prediction was more based on, or just my thought process was, leading up to round 5, I thought he'll take over due to the body work that he was investing in early. But it was no investment. It was just Bivol putting investments of his hands on Canelo's face. You know what I'm saying? And it worked out for him later on, because then Canelo started to respect his power. But he didn't give up. He kept coming forward, though. You know, that's one thing I will say. And he was punching with all his might up until the end of the fight. But again, he was getting fatigued doing that. Real quick, I'm gonna get to y'all's comments, but I would like to see Bivol unify with Joe Smith or Baturviev, or better BF, how you pronounce it. I've heard it pronounced so many different ways over the years. Because I want to see undisputed unification, that type of thing, undisputed at every weight class. All right, and I also want to see when these guys go undisputed. I know sanctioning fees, so on and so forth, but not just obtain undisputed, but retain it a couple times and defend it. All right, but I'd like to see Bivol do that. If he can't get that fight, I believe, what's the dude's name? Gilberto Ramirez is fighting Bosal, and I believe they're number 1. Probably butchering his name, but I believe they're number 1 and number 2 in those rankings for the strap that Bivol has. So fight the winner out of that. That makes the most sense, right? And you know, number 1 guy, number 2 guy in the rankings, and you fight the winner if he can't get the unification bout with Baturviev Smith winner. All right. As far as Canelo, I would like to see him. Shit, he's still undisputed at 168. You know what I'm saying? And definitely don't want to see the rematch of this Bivol Canelo fight. I think it goes like this pretty much 99.9% of the time. Don't see nothing there. To me, he fought the best fight that he can fight. I don't think there's no, he was trying to make adjustments during the fight. They just wasn't working. Bivol had an answer for everything. You try to walk me down, I got an answer for it. You try to go back and be slick, I got an answer for it. You try to go against the ropes, I got an answer for it. You try to beat me to my body, I got an answer for it.
Canelo found out there's weight classes for a reason.
Yeah, there's weight classes for a reason. Now, as far as Canelo, I'd like to see him fight at 168, man, and defend that strap, or defend that undisputed crown. The fight I want to see, man, is Benavidez. That's the fight I would like to see. Triple G fight, I don't like the 3rd fight. I don't like it today. I didn't like it 3 months ago. I didn't like it yesterday. I don't want to see that again. I just want to see another type of somebody fresh in there that we haven't seen him fight yet. You know, trilogies are cool. You know, I like trilogies. Some of the best fights in history. Shit, we just came off the Wilder Fury trilogy, right? Just most recently. Um, so I get it, but I really don't want to see it. I'd rather see him fight Benavidez, man, to be honest with you. Um, as far as Styles being able to beat him, now again, like, you know, I'm hearing a lot of fans say Andrade can be able to beat him with his style. And movement does give Canelo problems. He can be flat-footed at times when he's in it with guys like Lara and Trout and Mayweather and, you know what I mean, so on and so forth. But it's going to take more than just footwork to beat him. You got to be able to absorb the shit that he's dishing out, man. And that's one thing Billy Joe Saunders and Caleb Plant wasn't able to do for the duration of a fight, right? Because they end up getting stopped and getting their eye sockets busted up and all that type of thing, right? So you got to be able to absorb that shit and make Canelo back up. It's just not going to be you trying to skate to a UD on footwork. It's possible, because I've seen, you know, it happen to guys, but I would bank more on you be able to have good footwork and good defense and range, like a guy like Andrade, right, who's at 160 though, but rangy 6'1" southpaw. From the outside looking in, look like he has a skill set to give Canelo some problems, and he does. And I can see him. A lot of these Canelo fights, man, I predict them the same with some of these guys. Like, I think they're gonna, because Canelo likes to be flat-footed sometimes, put the high guard up to see what you got, and can get outworked in early rounds. So I think Andrade is one of those guys, or is it Andrade or whatever, man? He's, but watching his fights though, he has that type of skill set. But you got to be able to, you know, take what's coming at you, and we can't just bank on, hey, his body ain't gonna break down. I mean, Bivol's didn't, but you know, that guy's at 160. You know what I'm saying? Like, Bivol's a legit 175 pounder. You know what I mean? With amateur pedigree, that dude's a solid fighter, man. That dude's solid as hell. So we just can't expect that his body's going to stand up and absorb them shots the same way, especially when your guy is a career 160 pounder or 154 pounder or some shit like that. You know what I mean? If Charlo wants to move up, I wouldn't mind that fight, but I really want to see the Benavidez fight though, 168 for undisputed. All right, so I'm gonna get to y'all's comments. I just wanted to make sure I'm getting everything out. That's pretty much it. It was easy work, man. Pretty much covered everything that I can think of. Oh, Bivol's defense on the inside was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Now, and that's one thing I underestimated, man. It's just the other guys at 175, like a guy like Joe Smith and his power. That overhand right he was able to land on Bivol, I just thought Canelo would be able to duplicate that because of his hand speed, and power comes from punches you don't see. So although I didn't think Canelo has more brute force power than a guy like Joe Smith, I thought his speed would help him with the power that he does have to be able to catch and hurt Bivol, and it didn't work, right? So I need to stop underestimating those guys, man, at that weight class. Because it's a lot harder moving up, especially when you jump in, you know, weight classes like that, man.
It did seem like some of those early uppercuts that Canelo landed did buckle his legs.
See, and so my wife thinks that some of those uppercuts were getting to Caleb Plant just a little bit, and that's what I was just thinking of. I lost track. It's Bivol's defense on the inside. I thought that Canelo would be able to land more uppercuts than he was, because he was throwing a lot of them, and Bivol was dodging them. It's like Canelo couldn't get the uppercut working. And then my prediction of the fight, from the fights that I've seen Bivol in, when he gets close and wrapping up and gets in clinches, he usually will just let the ref break him up, and he's cool with that. He's not really an inside guy that's going to work on the inside, work the offhand, bring shots upstairs while he's holding you with his other hand. He's really just let the ref break you, and he'll get back to boxing. And I thought Canelo would take advantage of that, but Bivol defense on the inside was better than I thought it was going to be. He was slipping and timing those uppercuts and everything, man. He took that away from Canelo as well. And then once he, you know, Canelo would throw his punches or miss from the inside, and Bivol would just push him off and just really treated him like a little man in there. All right, let me see what y'all talking about, man. I appreciate y'all joining me. Derek Winston says, what's good? So he says, what's good? Salute. A lot of people slept on Bivol. Tack says Kovalev was beating Canelo before he caught him and stopped him. And he caught Kovalev nasty. And that's one thing about Canelo's power. is I never looked at it, even though he does have like a highlight reel. I mean, he does have some highlight reel KOs, man, like Kirkland and Khan and a few other ones. But I looked at his power more, especially as moving up, is more just accumulation and just beating and breaking you down. I mean, I never got like a Deontay Wilder vibe from him,
Yeah,
or
just the one knockout
yeah.
first round.
And
Like,
that's what he started doing when he started getting desperate at the end. When he started to run out of different adjustments and plans, he started just doing one shot at a time. Shit, that's what Bivol was only allowing him to do as well. Matt G, he says, hold on, Neutral Natural, what's good, bro? Matt G says, don't know how Canelo makes this division work. These guys have naturally bigger frames, weight, and power. I agree with that. Neutral Natural says, I want to see. Well, shit, because he's a tough SOB for one, and he got a chin on him, man, and he just has a way to walk in some of those, when he has been moving up, fight bigger guys, just walking dudes down and beating their bodies, man. And then the head drops, and then he has success going on from there. But it looked like 175 is just
a little too big.
a little too much, man. A little too much for him. And that Usyk thing, I never gave that. I never thought that was serious. I was like, come on, man. Like, he ain't fight. So I've never was a believer that he can beat Usyk. I admired trying to move up and trying to do something great. That kind of reminded me of, was it 2016, 2017, when Andre Ward was talking about fighting Anthony Joshua. I actually did a video about that. And I was like, man, I appreciate the greatness. You trying to go from 175, like, coming from 168 like Roy. Roy was fighting Ruiz type of guy, somebody that's more comparable to his size than you trying to fight somebody like Anthony Joshua. And I thought Joshua would have knocked him out. But I get where, get what Ward wanted to do. But I never took the Usyk and Canelo thing serious. Let me see here. Neutral Natural says, I want to see undisputed light heavyweight. It hasn't been done since 2002. Definitely love to see that fight. So 02, we talking about like Roy and Tarver and all them cats, right? And Glenn Johnson and all them cats. Tex says most of those popular channels had no idea who Bivol was. They were calling him a flat-footed Russian. Well, shit, they should have. I'm not sure what you're talking about exactly, but all you gotta do is go back and just watch the fights. Maybe they just didn't watch his fights, or maybe I don't know what they thought, man. But he definitely wasn't flat-footed. He's definitely not a flat-footed guy. Shit, because in my prediction, I was saying that he likes to go in and out. He likes to go in and out and move on his feet, but he does it in straight lines a lot, at least from the film that I've seen. And yesterday he was turning Canelo and everything. He wasn't just going out on a straight line. He was turning him, pushing him. He pretty much schooled him. Neutral Natural says being shorter don't even. He says being shorter don't even. You smaller, it's weight class, not a height class. Yeah, that's one thing I say too. It's called a weight class, not a height class. People will be like, oh well, and then they'll try to do things like, well, Mike Tyson was only. It's like, dude, come on.
Everybody
Man,
Mike Tyson.
not even that, but you trying to compare somebody like that's moving up from middleweight to a damn Mike Tyson, when Mike Tyson has the dimensions of a big man. He has big ass thighs and calves and neck and shoulders and forearms. Mike Tyson was like 200 pounds when he was 13. So it doesn't matter that somebody's 5'9", and like doesn't mean he's Mike Tyson.
Do you think Canelo would do better against better beef than Bivol because his feet ain't as fast?
The feet ain't as fast, but then the physicality and the just sheer punching power. It's going to look, man, punching power is going to affect you sooner or later, especially if you try to do the whole, I'm going to walk you down behind my high guard. The whole walk you down behind a high guard, and you're the type that will absorb some punches and then roll a time or two, and it's going to take its toll sooner or later, man. You're just not going to be able to walk down, especially when you're moving up. It's one thing to fight somebody in your weight class that's a big guy for your natural weight class. It's one thing to fight those big guys, right? Somebody's in your weight class that's a big guy for your weight class. It's a difference when you just move up to a totally different weight class where those guys are natural, whatever weight class that you're at. It's different. It's just different, man. And it showed last night.
They're losing weight to come in at 175, and then on fight night they're coming in a solid 185, 190.
Yeah, and that's a good point. And it just showed, man. Now again, I knew that it was show, but I thought Canelo's skill set would be able to exploit the holes that Bivol has, and I was totally wrong. But I thought it was gonna be competitive though. I didn't see no blowout or no bum, or I didn't see any of that, and I didn't think he was a bum going into the fight. That dude was a solid fighter. I remember his name being thrown around with Baturviev. This was when Ward was, debating about retiring, but fans were saying Baturviev and Bivol. Who else? Shambransky. Who else was they saying around that time? Uh, Damn, what's the other cat that lost? The other Eastern European cat. It was Shambransky, Bivol, Beterbiev. Somebody in the chat to know, man. What's the other cat that they were throwing around? Volжdik, him, Volжdik. I remember all them guys in that mix, man. So yeah, if you haven't heard of Bivol, man, just maybe, I don't know, maybe you just wasn't paying attention to the division at that time. But those are like the guys that were like coming up a little bit. It was like 4 years ago, somewhere around there. Maybe 3, something like that.
Canelo counts on the judges valuing his power shots over the opponent's combos, and it seems like the judges do.
Let me read this one. D.O.B. Newly, what's up, man? God of War was good. D.O.B. Newly said it was one-sided after 6. Neutral Natural says, wish he would defend his super middleweight title. Yeah, I agree. Neutral Natural says, back in 2018 when Bivol fought Joe Smith and dominated and got rocked by dude, I said he had a good chin. Yeah, and then that's nothing that I was failing to bring up in my prediction when he got caught by Smith. What I didn't bring up is he damn near stopped Smith towards the end of the fight. Yeah, like literally the 12th round, damn near stopped him. He came back and fought hard. He didn't fight just to hang on. He fought hard. So that's one thing I didn't bring up. Like he didn't fold after getting rocked like that. Let me see. God of War says, if Canelo was still with De La Hoya, we would. Let me talk about the scorecards, man. When I found out, because our stream, we ordered the fight, but the zone was messing up, man, on our little Apple TV thing. So when I actually found out, because the 12th round, the whole 12th round was messed up, we missed the whole 12th round. So I had to watch it again. And then when I seen that there was once I heard 115, 113, I was like, oh my goodness. How do you get 115, 130? I had a 117, 111. I only watched it once. We watched it last night live. So that's what, 9 rounds to 3. I don't see how you give them more than 2 or 3 rounds, man. After watching it live. And Reynolds says, no one at 160 and under beating Canelo. They can't take his strength. He punches hard as hell. Matt G says, does Canelo have the power to chop down? I don't think he does. And somebody asked me about the Bivol and not Bivol, but Baturviev and Canelo because of the footwork. And that was somebody asked me.
Beterbiev, B-E-T.
Yeah, him against who?
Bivol. Do you think Canelo would do better against him than Bivol because his feet ain't as fast?
Depends how Canelo can handle the physicality, man. I really don't know. Watching that now, I know Baturviev got enough stick to where he can keep. If Bill was able to do that, just far as just throwing punches, not footwork, but just to keep him off like that and keep him at bay, Baturviev can crack, man. I just think, look, man, could he possibly beat somebody in the top 10 of one of the sanctioned bodies? Possibly. But what he's aiming for, like trying to go undisputed and fight the top guys at that weight class, I just don't see it, man. I just think he needs to just go ahead and just defend the undisputed at 168. And try to have a great reign there. I think the Benavidez fight is a good fight. I think he beats Benavidez. But he's a big dude that likes to throw. He can throw in quick combinations. He likes to walk you down. He's explosive. So shit, that's why I think that's a very entertaining fight on paper. Benavidez and Canelo. Matt G says this. Okay, I read that one. Santonio Entertainment says Canelo counts on the judges valuing his power shots over the opponent's combos, and it seems like the judges do. They were tripping, man. All the judges gave Canelo the first 4 rounds. That's ridiculous. Dale Sturkey says, do you think Canelo would do? Okay, that's what I just seen. Roger was good. He says Canelo's max is 168. Matt G, okay. Let me see. Trick Nolte was good. Corey Mata says Benavidez will do the same thing to Canelo. But possibly, he possibly could. I think he'll try the same approach to try to walk Canelo down behind flurries of punches, and he does have the speed. But again, will he be able to absorb the punches as easily as Bivol was able to? So I don't know if we just can assume that, but maybe. Bodymore Murderlin says, unlike Floyd, Bivol giving the blueprint loudly, he said all Canelo do every punch with power, which drains him little by little. Yep, I brought that up. And by the way, he has to take a break, which usually his opponent respects him. Man, did you just join, bro? Did you hear me earlier? I just said that, and like you just brought up, Bodymore, when he takes a break, his opponents usually respect him, and that's what Bivol wasn't doing. Like Bivol was like, "Oh, you tired? You trying to take a break? You trying to dance around the ring and shake your head no, or fix your trunks? All that shit is just a ploy to take a break. We all know that watching these guys fight, they try to take their breaks in subtle little ways, right? And Bivol said, "No, or you don't want to fight right now? Take this 4-piece flurry." You know what I'm saying? And it was making Canelo very uncomfortable because it was like, okay, here comes Canelo throwing with all his might to the shoulders and to the ribs and all that, and to the high guard to no avail. Right when he does that, he throws about 3, 4 as hard as he can punches. Then he wants to go back and catch his breath. Then Bill will step right to him. 1, 2, 3, 4, right down the. That shit's tight. That shit catches up, and he's the bigger, stronger man physically, and he's pushing him too. That's just too much to deal with. It's just too much to deal with. Um, that was just too much to deal with. I appreciate that, Bodymore. I appreciate that, man. Neutral Natural says Bivol was parrying his punches on the arms. Yep, he sure was. He was coming back with hooks. He'll catch Canelo hook, boom, come back with his own hook. Man, it was just a big man just beating down a little man. That's pretty much what it was. He beat him up, and like I said, I don't know if y'all agree with me, man. Now I will say he was going for it because I was like, man, he's trying to stop Canelo when he was throwing those flurries. He was going for it, but I thought if his approach was a little bit nastier, meaning I'm not saying going in there and fouling Canelo, but just get a little bit more nastier. Even if you push his head down and and push him down to one knee, just little things like that. And actually, Canelo did go down on the knee in the fight.
Yeah,
Did
yeah.
if he just would have did that more, put him in a headlock more, and just ragdoll him for like 3 seconds, and just
Pushed him
and
down
just
on
be a
his
little bit
back.
more physical with him, I thought he could have possibly started draining Canelo even more. You know what I'm saying? And going for a knockout, but he did what he had to do. Man, I'm just a dude on YouTube talking, right? So he obviously did what he had to do yesterday. But I thought if he was a little bit more nastier and rugged with Canelo, man, he could have probably dropped him, especially late.
Yeah,
Bodymore
we'll
says, didn't
see.
he say he trained to take them arm punches? Well, what I do know, man, is a lot of them cats that have unique.
Give me one of those cold pops.
Oh yeah, they have unique trainings. So possibly, but he's probably been training to take all that shit, those type of punches all his life, man.
I'm going in the house. Don't forget to
Yeah,
grab all this pops.
so he's probably been doing that all his life, taking them punches and absorb. I mean, these guys are sparring guys way bigger than them, anyways. And that's what I think was helping Canelo out, even moving up, is just him having a lot of experience sparring bigger guys. So if he's sparring bigger guys all the time, if Canelo's doing it, what you think a guy like Bivol's doing? Them punches had no effect, man. I know my wife said he caught him with some uppercuts that glanced Bivol a little bit, and the crowd was going crazy when there was some success. It was a pro Canelo crowd, but it's maybe a slight buzz. I don't know, for like a second or two, but that was really it. Rematch is not necessary. I do not. Yeah, I agree, St. Cruz, and I don't see for what. I don't like I just said previously. I don't see You know, because I heard some people say, oh, he didn't have a plan B. I was like, yeah, he did. He had a plan A, walk down high guard, didn't work. He had a plan B, go on the back foot and try to make you miss while standing stationary, bending at the waist and make you miss. Didn't work. C, go against the ropes and try to make you miss. It didn't work. Um, D, trying to throw one punch at a time, pot shots. Like nothing was working. Nothing. E, trying to break down the body. That didn't, just nothing was working, man. So I thought he was trying to make adjustments. Just that Bivol had something for him. Whatever adjustment he made, is like Bivol turned up the pressure. Whenever he saw Canelo try to make an adjustment, he turned the pressure up. Meaning he'll start Canelo try to try to use the method of I'm gonna get off 3-4 punches in a row and then back up. As soon as you back up, I'm gonna step right to you. Canelo try to go against the ropes. I'm gonna be patient, but when I see my time, I'm gonna throw a barrage of punches. Whatever he tried to do, it was checkmate. Matt G says Canelo looked shocked by the aggression from Bivol and corner never adjusted game plan. I'm not sure what they were telling him in the corner, but I do think he was trying to make adjustments, man. It's just nothing was happening though. And then I think he will in spurts go back to what he thought would just be his best way. Come to you high guard with my and then his man, it was evident early. His face was getting was bright red from them jabs. Santonio Entertainment says he said it in his post interview, better hit the arms than the head. Bodymore says 2 L's back to back destroys Nelo's career. He should wait, go back to 168 until one of the three champions, one of the true champions, undisputed. Well, he's still relatively young. Um, and if you have a solid fan base like he has right now, and even if he were to, I mean, shit, I'm not gonna lie, man. If he suffered another loss back to back, obviously that's gonna set you back a little bit. But he has a crazy fan base, man. So I don't think it'll destroy his career. It'll be how he loses. You know, what I mean, if he goes in and gets destroyed by somebody, if he goes in and gets destroyed by somebody, then I can obviously, then that's always going, fuck things up. But as long as he makes it competitive, man, he fights with some heart, his fans gonna be there. Now him being at the top of the top, then he obviously gonna get knocked down some notches if he loses another fight back to back. If he loses undisputed, because that's what people are loving right now is him going up, and trying to go for undisputed and fighting these champions. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that definitely wouldn't be a good look. Definitely, especially not getting schooled back to back either. So yeah, okay, now I see what you're saying, Bodymore. You saying back to back losses from Bivol. Yeah, that definitely. Now that right there, yeah. I'm thinking if you meant like Benavidez or something like that. Yeah, the Bivol, hell no. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. The boxing store in 206 was good, man. He says I told everyone Canelo was gonna whoop him. uh yeah, I agree about it more. Going in back to back with him and losing in a rematch. Nah. Now, what I will say is this, and then I'm gonna go ahead and jump off here, man. But what I will say is this. Hold on, let me see. Neutral Natural says Bivol knocking out Broadhurst was the first fight. Trent Broadhurst was the first fight he saw him on HBO. R. Hayes says he done well to keep Canelo on the end of his shots and stick to it. Who knows? Canelo may been able to get to Bivol if he went off he went off the game plan. Great discipline. Bruce Gas was good, man. Mr. PBC, he says Bivol is my favorite fighter, and Craig Richards. Hey, Craig Richards is a pretty solid fighter, man. I seen the fight with him and Bivol. Ain't Richards about to fight in some type of title eliminator, or am I tripping? I could have thought I seen some type of advertisement. All right, this last thing, man, I'm gonna jump off, y'all. Now, if I don't think Canelo needs no type of. Well, first of all, you're undisputed champion, man. So I think it'll probably be. I'm not sure how all the sanctioned bodies line up for him as far as when his duties to defend one of those titles. What is you know when the dates are for that, the schedule. But I don't think he needs some rinky-dink voluntary defense against Larry Lunchmeat. I just don't see that, man. I think he's at the stage of his career where it's big fights. Yes, before this loss he took, he was staying busy. Some fights people are like, a lot of the fights were against champions. Um, but I don't think we need no lower tier fight next for a confidence booster. This is just you lost to the clear, just bigger, better fighter. That's it. This isn't, you fought hard to the end. You didn't show negative body language as far as not wanting to try no more. You were pissed off and mad that the shit you were doing wasn't working, but it wasn't like that he was in there just like, like that. So you fought to the end, bro. Just you lost to the better fighter. So I don't think he needs no confidence builder or, fight Larry Lunchmeat, man. Get in there, fight a notable opponent, preferably Benavidez. That's what I want to see him fight. Or if he goes into a triple G third fight, I would rather see that than some voluntary defense against some guy to build his confidence. His confidence is cool, man. Just lost to the bigger dude, absorbed everything you were throwing. Shit, you were throwing hard. Well, it wasn't like you went in there and you didn't perform or you wasn't trying hard. You tried. Just shit just didn't work. So and he's at the point of his career, man, where I think it's about legacy, right? So just fuck that, man. Go right into a legacy fight. Give me Benavidez or whoever, or if it's the triple G third fight. I'd rather see that than, like I said, against some voluntary defense against the number 14th ranked guy or some shit in one of the sanctioned bodies. All right, so God of War says I would rather see Triple G as 3 as well. Neutral Natural says better not fight Edgar Berlanga, bro. He gets too. You tripping, Neutral Natural, man. Hell no. You think Berlanga to beat him? Better not. Hold on. Better not. You think Berlanga could beat Canelo? No, man. That kid get man. He has trouble dealing with hand speed, jab, and movement. Now that's one dude Canelo looked like Sweet Pea against, bro. You know what I'm saying? Now Canelo would look like Chris Bird. You know what I'm saying? A prime Larry Holmes on his feet against somebody like Berlanga, man. I think he's too basic. Again, now I just got a prediction wrong, but I think Bivol is a way higher class fighter than somebody like Berlanga. But he has heavy hands and he has youth. I'll give him that, but not right now, bro. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. He says, okay, hold on. He says, no, I'm not saying that he says, no, I'm saying that that'll be a tune-up fight. Oh, okay, I read it wrong, bro. I must have read, well, obviously I read your last, okay, I was about to say, I was like, nah, Neutral Natural tripping now, man. That dude get hit way too easy. And he's inexperienced, like, Oh, Batista's fighting. Yeah, that's the advertisement I saw. So that's a little UK, little scrap, right? Rich is from the UK, right? Is he? I think believes from the UK. And Batista, okay, so that's gonna be a good one. Yeah, Bivol, Ike Oregon, Bivol handled Pascal easy. Appreciate the super chat from my man Matt G. The 13.99. He says, thanks for the vids and sharing your knowledge. Always look forward to hearing your thoughts before and after the big fights. I appreciate that, man. Appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate all y'all tuning in. Okay, Fandora should move up and fight Canelo. Nah. Bodymore says Edgar Berlanga's trash. EJ Boxing Live up in here. What's good, EJ? Hey, EJ, since we talking about the fight, who you got in the Richards versus Batista fight? Richards pretty tough, man. I was when I was doing my little film study of Bivol, I actually watched that fight. Richards can go. Fabrici says, big dude with an elite left hand, great mobility, feet, and feint game, and adapted to opening high guards equals nightmare matchup for Canelo. Yeah, that almost sounds like a guy like Andrade, right? If he can absorb the shots from Canelo himself and be able to get Canelo's respect. But yeah, mobility has always gave Canelo problems, especially if you're rangy with it. It's just that he has a way of, arm punching and elbow punching and shoulder punching and just finding ways to break your body down. And it just didn't work going in with a guy like Bivol. Christian NWO, what's up, man? He says, I think Canelo fought a great fight, but his power didn't translate to 175. I would like to see Canelo stick at 175 so his body acclimates to the weight. Canelo looks like he really wants it. He fought like he really wanted it, man. And like I said, Christian NWO, I think if you gave me a sanctioning body's top 10, do I think he can pick some guys off in one of the said top 10s? Of course. But the elite guys, I think the physicality is gonna be just a little bit too much, man. Just a little, and even if he's scraping out decisions, bro, it's gonna take a lot out of him. A lot out of him. You know what I mean? Just to scrape up some UDs, man, or just some split shit, just some decisions, period. God of War says, did Canelo lose any belt? No, he's still undisputed at 168. He was going up to 175 to challenge Bivol. And I really think, it's disrespectful, man, when you make the champion come out first. I know he's the A side. They're there to see him. He's the big money. Yeah, but man, that's a tradition that I think should be left alone. Despite how popular the other guy is. Come on, man. But it is what it is. First, second, whoever comes out at the end of the day, you gotta get in the ring anyways and fight. So that really doesn't matter. Xavier the boxing nerd was good, man. He says Bivol has a better claim to being WBO champion than Smith. Neutral Natural says Trevor Bryan versus Dubois. How can Trevor pull off the upset? Um, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna use that. You know what I'm saying, Neutral Natural. I'm gonna use that as a subject for my next video when I go live, man. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna talk about that one um in an upcoming video. Its own separate one for that. But that's a good fight. One thing I'll say is this, without saying too much. Trevor Bryan has a good trainer in his corner, Stacey McKinley. He has good fundamental boxing skills, jab, but his the weight gain that I be seeing him go through, man, and coming into fights and just looking. I understand McKinley will tell you he's a big man, and I get that, Stacey. He's a big man. He's a heavyweight. He's not gonna look like a welterweight. Yeah, but I think he can lose some of the excess fat. I just looking at his body and looking at when he was a little bit quicker in fights when you were training him. I'm trying to think of the guy that you guys fought on HBO. I can't remember the guy's name, man. That you guys fought. But Brian was really slim for that fight. Damn post fight for it too. Damn, I can't remember the dude's name, man. But he was pretty trim in that fight. What I've been seeing recently, this around the time he was about 17-0, somewhere around there. But just, I think he'd be in better condition, man. And he better be. Because Daniel Dubois can punch. And he's going to come, and I think he's going to go looking for the knockout. But I do think that Trevor Bryan can use his jab in that fight. Let me stop it there. But I think he'll use his jab in the fight. But I'm gonna keep boxing that. I'm gonna break that down in a future video. Hey man, I'm gonna jump off of here, man. Y'all be good. I'm gone.